Resistance fighters' arsenal included pistols, rifles, Molotov cocktails, and one machine gun. The final deportation order was set for April 1943, and the German operational plan was to enter the ghetto, gather up the residents, and transport them off to Treblinka. 3 days were allotted for the action. However, Himmler wanted the ghetto to be cleared by 20 April 1943, Hitler's birthday. The German SS High Command had sent SS General Jürgen Stroop to Warsaw to oversee the final action, and his leanings preferred full-scale destruction and death rather than simply arresting people. On the eve of Passover, 19 April 1943, the German SS, the police, and auxiliary forces under the command of SS Oberfuhrer Ferdinand von Sommern-Frankeneck entered the ghetto with 2,000 troops, accompanied by a tank, 2 armored cars, 3 light anti-aircraft guns, 1 medium howitzer, heavy and light machine guns, and flamethrowers. 700 to 750 Jewish resistance fighters were waiting for them. A hail of bullets and explosions erupted, wounding or killing a number of the German SS. Molotov cocktails were thrown and set a German tank on fire, killing the entire crew and destroying the tank. The SS broke ranks in confusion, and panic set in. The order for immediate retreat turned into a whole-scale rout. The total number of SS fatalities varies from report to report, but they did sustain heavy losses. One SS soldier ran from the ghetto screaming, "Juden haben Waffen." The Jews have weapons. It has also been reported that the SS could not make a clean retreat because they were mirrored in their own dead. But this cannot be verified accurately. At the end of the day, 2 Jewish youth climbed to the top of the former building of the Judenrat, and they hoisted 2 flags, the Polish national flag and a flag of blue and white. When the report of the failed 19th of April operation was sent to Berlin, Himmler personally called Stroop, and Himmler was furious. Sommern-Frankeneck was relieved of his command, and Stroop now assumed full command of the action. Stroop's battle plan was to divide the ghetto into 24 sectors, and his troops would attack all 24 sectors simultaneously. On 20 April, Hitler's birthday, the SS marched into the ghetto again. The SS that were killed were quickly stripped of their clothing and weapons. German uniforms became highly prized by the ghetto fighters, because now they could disguise themselves as SS and wreak havoc when an actual SS troops thought they were linking up with other SS members. A tank and a squad of troops came into the ghetto through the Brushmaker district gate. A landmine exploded, killing everyone in the squad, the tank crew, and destroying the tank. The explosion was so massive that it was heard throughout Warsaw. Day 2 ended in a second demoralizing defeat for the Nazis. Stroop requested support from the army, which now brought in more artillery and tanks. Berlin was putting intense pressure on Stroop to bring the action to a successful conclusion. Stroop ordered the SS to enter the ghetto with flamethrowers and mines. As the German SS with flamethrowers were torching the upper floors of the buildings to suppress hostile fire, the SS explosive ordnance men, called sappers, were setting mines in the lower floors of the building. When the explosives were in place, Stroop pressed the detonator. Stroop had also requested assistance from the German Air Force, the Luftwaffe, and the Luftwaffe initiated both bombing and strafing of the ghetto. A thick blanket of smoke hung over Warsaw, and the flames could be seen for miles. Oftentimes, a burning building housed 1 or more bunkers, and the resistance fighters survived searing heat and smoke inhalation, or they escaped into sewers to new bunkers and out of harm's way. Many resistance fighters were not so fortunate, and they perished when the buildings collapsed into a flaming inferno. Operation Oneg Shabbat was conceived and brought to fruition by Dr. Emanuel Ringelblum. 3 empty milk cans were collected and packed with diaries, newspaper accounts of the fighting, and essays by scores of writers. The milk cans were buried in the ghetto in hopes that someday someone might read about what really happened. Resistance fighters who were caught in the upper floors of the flaming buildings chose to jump leap to their deaths, denying the SS a chance for revenge. Many resistance fighters saved one last bullet so they could take their own lives rather than being caught by the SS. While the buildings were burning, oftentimes resistance fighters would come running out the door with guns blazing, inflicting SS losses. Women often came running out with a live grenade concealed in their clothing, killing themselves and their SS captors. The SS would also interdict poison gas into the buildings just prior to torching them, and the poison gas took the lives of many resistance fighters. In the final week of the battle, the German Luftwaffe was using incendiary devices in conjunction with the SS use of artillery. The greater portion of the ghetto was reduced to nothing more than a pile of burnt rubble. Just before the final fall, and in a last act of defiance, the remaining resistance fighters broke into 2 groups. One group would make their escape, while the remaining members would provide cover fire for their break to freedom. No one really knows how many Jewish resistance fighters found their way to the partisans. On 16 May, after almost a month of hard fighting, the SS had secured their way into the ghetto's core, and they now surrounded 18 Mila Street. After blocking all 5 entrances into the building, the German SS piped both poison gas and tear gas into the bunker. Those who did not die from the gas very quickly must have taken their own lives, as there were no survivors. Stroop wrote Berlin these 4 words: "The ghetto is no more," and he was awarded the Iron Cross. According to both Jewish and SS sources, approximately 1,200 German and Polish police were either killed or wounded. A number of staff cars and 2 tanks were destroyed. This is what the ghetto looked like after the uprising had been crushed. The first milk can, hidden in Operation Oneg Shabbat, was found in 1946. The second milk can, that had been hidden containing documentation of the ghetto fight, was found in 1950. The third milk can has never been found. This is a picture of the only building of the Warsaw Ghetto that remains today. In 1950, Stroop was identified and arrested. He was extricated to Poland to stand trial. He signed a full confession admitting to his actions and stood trial for his crimes. He was hanged by the Polish government.